Hi, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to, I should have done this before I turned on the live. Okay, welcome to the TikTok live. I don't know. Share. I don't even know. I don't have my stand, so I don't know. Co-host. Anyway, I don't have my stand, so I don't. I'm sitting in my car, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this without my stand. Anyway, hello. I just want to vent today. I'm very overwhelmed. I don't know if you watch my videos, I talk about the fact that I'm being cyberstalked. It started about 2.5 years ago. I started this job that I thought was going to be a really good job. I had I felt like I wasn't supposed to take it, but the money was good, and I just felt like it would be a good opportunity, so I went against my gut and took the job, and I started working with this girl who I really liked, and I thought I was trying my best to train her when I didn't know everything, so to train her not knowing everything. And one day another girl started working, and that girl decided she didn't like me, and so it made it worse with the girl who was cyberstalking me, because she kind of took her side. She took that opportunity and started lying about me and saying I was doing all these things I wasn't, and I went from being almost promoted to being fired, and it was all based off of these lies. And I was just like, what happened? Because I was very low liked, and I was friendly, and I liked everyone there, and I was happy, and all of a sudden, slowly, everyone started turning against me. And then I was like, you know what? I'm like, I felt like I had grounds to sue, but for wrongful termination, but I decided, because there were some things they did that were wrong. Like, they told me they were going to do a 2-week investigation, and I even overheard my boss say that he knew I was telling the truth, and then after 1 week I was let go. And there were some other things, because I kept complaining about her, and they had a no retaliation policy, and so I shouldn't have gotten fired. But I was like, you know what, I found a new job right away, praise God, I'm just going to move on with my life. And same thing, all of a sudden I noticed the people at my new job were acting weird, and and right before I left, I found out this girl was hacking my Facebook. And I don't know, though, I really wasn't thinking she was hacking my whole phone, so I changed my password on Facebook and moved on with my life. Well, a couple weeks into my new job, I found out these guys were hacking my phone, and right away I knew she was involved. And they made up stuff. They said that one of them worked at the place I was working at, the warehouse, so we knew people, or one of them was related, or the same one to one of the people I worked with, and that's how they got involved. I don't really know. I think that she contacted them and got them involved, and then and they made fun of me all the time, and it was horrible, and I'd go to work crying, and they even gave me a 2-week leave while they did an investigation, unpaid leave, and then they just brought me back they didn't tell me anything, and just said go back to work. And then I felt like I gave up on complaining, because I felt like it wasn't doing anything. And they would go through my locker, my car, my purse. I didn't know what to do, and they were hacking my phone, and they were doing things to my computer, and I didn't realize right away. And then they started doing things like, they would say things like, I don't know, I'm trying to give an example. All right, I was on food stamps. When I lost my job, I got on food stamps right away, and they said that they hacked my food stamp account and made it look like I had more than I did. And I was so scared. I was so freaked out. I thought maybe they were telling the truth. And I mean, and they isolated all my friends. They contacted all my family and friends and told them that to help with the investigation, they had to say they didn't believe me. And and they isolated me from everyone. And so I was going through this, I'm still going through this completely by myself without support. And so some of the things I believed were probably stupid, but I was so scared that I just didn't know what to do, and I just wasn't thinking straight. And come to find out, the government, there was an investigation, or there still is an investigation. The government's involved, but the government is letting her and these people do this to me, and they're not stopping them. And everybody, they still get people to help. And I get made fun of 24/7. And it's my family too, and my friends, and my church, and everybody. And it's so overwhelming because there's so many people involved. I can't do anything without a joke, and I don't have a job. And they said that, I don't know if I said this in my last video about prayer requests, where they're not going to let me work at a place unless, they okay it so they can play more jokes on me. If the people say no, they're not going to let them do that. They're not going to let me work there. And so it makes me not want to have a job because I'm scared that I'm going to be harassed all the time again. And I don't know. And then they gaslight me. What they do is they do lots of things to gaslight me. There's a whole video about 10 things to gaslight, and they do all the things on that video to gaslight. And one of them is like, stay at my grandparents, and what they do is they have people talk about me in close enough distance where I can hear. I can't always hear what they say, but if I confront them about it, they are supposed to deny it and call me crazy, and that's gaslighting. That's one of the things that people do when they gaslight. And so I hear my grandma say, we're gonna let you live here, and you're more than welcome to live here, but to your face we're gonna pretend like we don't want you to live here. And that's what they did, and I cried for 2 days. I just locked myself in my bedroom and just cried. And they're getting me thrown out of my apartment. That's their new thing. And I kept applying for apartments, but every application is like anywhere from $40 to $100, and the couple I really was willing to live in, they had the people deny me because they said that they want, the whole point of them getting me kicked out is because I had a pretty cheap apartment, is they wanted me to pay more money in rent, so they weren't going to let me rent somewhere unless it cost me more money. So now I'm homeless. Well, I'm staying at my grandparents', but I'm kind of homeless. And I don't know, it just goes on and on. So I had a storage, and a year or two ago they said that, and they broke in, and I've kept journals for 30 years, and they read all my journals, and then they kept saying that they wanted me to take my journals to my grandparents' house because they want them to read them too. And I'm like, what? No. And so I'm like, I'm not going to go into my storage again until this is over. And so they've been nagging me for 2 years to go into my storage. Well, now that I'm moving, I need to go in this storage. And I was like dreading because I was thinking they probably stole a lot of crap out of my storage. Well, they didn't steal any. Well, I don't know if they probably stole anything out of my storage yet. They stole the keys, so I can't get into them. I had a lockbox, and one of them I think they switched the lock because I know I had the key to that lock, and I put it in a lockbox, and it was at my friend's house. And I got the lockbox today, and I don't have the key, and so, and I know, and they already stole one of the copies because I kept all my spare keys in a lockbox, and I had a copy of that key, and I knew they stole that key. So I finally got the other key, and it doesn't work. Thank you. I appreciate you saying you're sorry for my situation. I'm just so frustrated. And then I'm trying to get people to help me move, and they said that they're only going to let people help me move if I pay them. They're not going to let anyone help me move for free. So, because they want me to spend all my money, and because I got a small inheritance from my grandfather, so I have money to live off of. But I really wanted to save that because I don't have anything saved for retirement, and I put it, and I don't want to spend it all on being unemployed. But I don't know. I'm just not, I felt like God told me to not worry about the money and just trust him. But I'm still like, it doesn't mean I want to go blow it all the time. I blow it enough on eating out because I need to get out of my grandparents' house because it's hard to be locked in a little room. And I love my grandparents, and I am appreciative about the fact that they're going to let me stay there even though they don't want me to. But I just really wish they would be more encouraging, because I just don't have anybody that's encouraging, and it's really hard. Yesterday I made a video about, I was going through some emails, and the video was about things that they've said to harass me. I hit it after, it's not up anymore because I kind of said some things that were kind of rude, but things that they've said include, we know you don't need an antipsychotic, but we're going to tell everyone to tell you you need one anyway, and they think that's funny. We know that cyberbullying could lead to suicide, but we don't care. We're going to do it anyway. You're fat, you're stupid, you're slow. They make fun of how much I eat. I do have a binge eating disorder. They want me, they told me that their goal is either for me to kill myself or they get me institutionalized, that those are their goals, and that's what they're trying to do. They've messed with my tires. They've tried to con me into buying all 4 new tires when I didn't need 4 new tires. Let's see. They did this one. They threatened they have threatened to kill me, actually. They have threatened my life, and they threatened to cut my brakes. And then one day I got in my car, and the windshield wipers wouldn't turn off, and some of the lights on the dashboard weren't working. And I was freaking out, and I didn't know what to do. And I went to all these mechanics, and they said it was something electrical. And then I finally went to somebody, and he fixed a fuse, and everything worked okay. In the meantime, though, I didn't realize my taillights, they set me up and I didn't realize my taillights were out, and I was driving in the dark, and I got pulled over, but it was just a warning. I don't need proof of any of this. The police are watching everything. They're probably what they're doing is called cloning your phone. And when you clone a phone, it's kind of like if you've set up 2 computer monitors, and how you can see both computer monitors at the same time, or you can make them so they're different, and you can take the mouse from side to side. And I know this because while this was going on, I actually helped somebody learn how to set up 2 computer monitors. And so with cloning my phone, they can see everything that I can see. And what I've learned is that cyber crimes are all federal. They're FBI, and hacking someone's phone is not a local thing. It could be, but a federal thing. And federal crimes could take anywhere from 4 to 6 years. And what I've been told is that this person, I call her Bethany, that Bethany's con is that she admitted to doing this, and that she's still harassing me to get other people in trouble for harassing me, because it's actually very hard to prove, because I've looked this up and I read it again recently. It's very hard to prove that someone's cloning your phone. And it's not something, and I sat there and changed all these passwords, and you know what, but because they're cloning my phone, they got into everything again, and I don't know. And so they're doing, and then the guys that she recruited tell me they're doing this to catch her, and she's telling me that she's doing this to catch them, and they're all doing this together, and from what I hear, they're telling everybody the same thing, and it's like, I know they're doing all this together. And and I do have a lot of memes and things that I've screenshot. But that once they finally get arrested, will help me. But it's not going to help me get them arrested. It will help me once they're arrested. And the only thing I can do is keep advocating for myself. So I keep writing letters and emails, telling everybody what's going on, and praying that God will get me out of this. And that's all I can really do until they finally decide to arrest them. And this could last, the average federal crime like this can last is like 3 to 5 years, meaning it could last more than 5 years. I'm in my car. Nice house. I just had some time, and I was just upset I just decided to come on here and talk about it. Maybe see if any of you had any encouraging things to say. Not any rude things to say, but encouraging. Hi, Bojangles. Sorry, it's hard to read the names because of the glare of the light. What else has happened? They were shaving my dog's paw over and over again. They were telling me that the police were letting them break into my home, and the police kept telling me, okay, you know what? You know, if you're going to be rude, I'm going to block you, okay? Okay. Sorry. Another thing they do is they con people in social media, people I don't know. Either they're fake accounts or they'll actually ask someone to go in and make fun of me for them. They try to get people to do it for them. Be that way. I thought I just mute account. There we go. Anyway, they will go online and find strangers to harass me for them, or they'll make up fake accounts and harass me. So I just screenshot it. I don't know if that, whatever. If you want to make fun of, I really could use encouragement. I'm crying. I really am not on here to joke around. I'm sorry. If you want to go here and joke around, go on someone else's live. But if you want to be encouraging, please stay on mine. Or if you have any suggestions on how, you can tell me that too. But I really I can't really handle right now anybody being rude or sarcastic. I will just mute you and block you. Hang on, sorry. And then I was thinking too, because one of these people keeps trying to say I'm racist, but my best friend is a minority. I almost married a minority. I dated one for a year and a half. I encourage people all the time to go to Chicago and help with the people that are undocumented. I've only gone once, but I've tried to raise support other ways too. And I was thinking today that the majority, there are 6 people that are undocumented that are helping with this, and the majority, I think there's only one white person who has there has been other, because like I said, she recruits people, but who has been involved since the beginning. I can only think of one white male. All the rest of the people have been minorities. And for somebody who, I talk about how I grew up poor white trash, and I grew up, and because of that, I get how it is being, growing up poor white trash. And so I've always been somebody who advocates for minorities, and how I've realized through this that I don't know, I realized some things. It just makes it hard to keep wanting to advocate for a people group, when that people group is doing things illegal against you and doing things to harass you and doing things to bully you. It's just, it makes it harder for me, who has been somebody who has been so supportive over the years, to keep being supportive. And I don't know. And it's just an eye-opener, like, why people are so close-minded. Because if I didn't have God, by now I'd be like, screw all other people, and I'd stop being somebody who wants to advocate for people because of what I'm going through, and I don't know, and I don't want to stay bitter, and I actually pray that God helps to keep me forgiving and keep me loving, so I don't turn into a racist. I think that everybody is racist a little bit here and there, and it doesn't always have to be towards another, or or prejudice, I guess. It doesn't always have to be towards another race. Maybe you don't like poor people, or maybe you don't like ghetto, or maybe you don't like, I don't know, and so it's hard. I think Israel is great too. I'm part Jewish. And that's another, and that too, like, because even though I'm Jewish and I'm like a huge supporter of Israel, I don't want to see Palestinians die, but I don't know what to say after realizing they started this war and that Hamas is like running their government, and I don't know what to say. It's like, and everybody's like, they're genociding them. And it's like, wait a minute, they started this war and they still have hostages and you're telling them to stop fighting. And I'm like, if they stop fighting, Hamas is going to kill them, and everybody's like, free Palestine. And it's like, well, why can't Palestine needs to free themselves, Yeah. I do. Yeah, they do try to break me down. It's just that they don't stop. Like yesterday all day, they were messing with my phone, so it made it harder for me to use my phone. I don't know. Let's see. There's just always something. They make everything I do harder. I'm being cyberbullied. I don't know. And there is an investigation, but it's been 2.5 years and nothing's been done about it yet. And it's just been very difficult. They're cloning my phone. That's what I've been talking about. Israel is great, but I don't know. Yeah, bullies sucked. That's all I have to say. And it's just, it really makes somebody who wants to be a nice person and who wants to help others bitter. It really does. That's all I need. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Is that it's the more they do this, the more it's making me bitter, Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. It has made me stronger in my faith. I will say that. And it's actually, in some ways, it's made me bitter, but in some ways, it's made me a kinder person. Because, knowing that people are being mean to me and gaslighting me because they think it's going to help the investigation. And, I had to learn not to be mad at people, if that makes sense. Like, I've had to learn how to, love them anyway. And, and because I've lost some of my best friends don't talk to me anymore because of these people. They told them to stop talking to me, and my siblings are horrible to me. And, and so is my aunt. And I'm just so mad at her right now, and just trying not to be, and trying to be loving at the same time. And because they think what they're doing is helping, but they don't realize what the damage they're causing by doing it. And I keep saying this over and over and over again, and they don't listen. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Let's see. Anyway, so they were breaking in my apartment like almost every day when I would go to work, and it was horrible. And I knew they were going to do it, and I knew they would. And sometimes they stole stuff, sometimes they moved stuff around, sometimes they took things and then put them back because they wanted me to believe I was absent-minded, or that they're trying to convince me that I'm crazy. And like I said, they kept saying they had permission to do so, and I'm like, no, you don't. This is my home. You would not have permission. If you had permission to come in my home, there would be some paperwork on it, And so the police suggested getting these little Blink cameras. And a doorknob camera, and I did, but all of that runs on internet. And so they hacked these accounts, and they would turn these cameras off when they entered my apartment. So they were a waste of time, and then they were using them to help them stalk me. They were stalking me with my own cameras. And so I got rid of them, and I kept telling them, so then they made fun of it. They would have people say over and over and over again, get a Blink camera, get a camera. And they were making fun of me because they were doing it to make fun of me. So then eventually somebody put a camera on the building across from my apartment, and I didn't realize that. And so I don't know for how long they've been watching my apartment, and they know who's been breaking in, who hasn't. And I'm like, if these people, if the police are saying it's okay to enter my apartment, why do they put a camera in my apartment? You know, I mean, it's literally almost directly on my door from where it is on this building across. There's a factory across the way. And, you know, and so even though they haven't made arrests yet, and even now, and that's one of the reasons they say they're forcing me to move is because of that camera. But I do have confidence that once this is over, things will be a lot better. The fear is, and I felt like God was telling me that it's going to be this year, but I felt like God was told me before it was going to be over and it wasn't over. And so my fear is that this is going to keep my life on hold because they won't let me make new friends. I mean, it's just crazy. The list goes on. And so I am friendless. I don't have any support. I don't have anybody I can just sit and vent to like I'm venting to you guys. I don't have anybody I can go to for advice. And they're so obsessed with me. I mean, literally, because I work overnights with some of these people. There are people listening to my social media, to my phone or to my tablets or anything, literally 24/7. And I'm not exaggerating because I work night shifts with some of these people. They are so obsessed. It's so weird. And I'm like, I am a middle-aged woman who sits and hangs out with her dogs all day. What is so interesting about me? I mean, I am boring. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I mean, right now I'm binge watching Big Bang Theory because it's funny. Hi from Des Moines, you know, I mean, but, I listen to sermons online all the time because it's like I said, I need my faith to get me through this. I mean, I am boring. I am so fucking boring. Sorry, I mean to swear. I don't understand what is so interesting that they feel the need to listen to me 24/7. So then it's like, so what they do is they create drama for me. So that way they can laugh at me and make fun of me. And so, you know, and it's just, I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. By now I would have been bored with me and moved on, but they're not bored. I don't care that they talk about me. I've been talked about my whole life. It's just the fact that they are doing things to ruin my life. You just don't understand it. I mean, you know, and so they got into my banking, they got into so many things, and they're allowed to do these things to me to help get charges on themselves. And I don't understand that they care more about destroying my life than they care about whether or not they're going to jail. And it doesn't make sense to me. Hi, California. Hi, or Ellen. I'm sorry. I have trouble reading names because of the glare. And so, I don't know. Talk about me. I mean, I don't know. I was bullied as a child. Talk about me all you want. I mean, I came from a very poor family, and so we were always talked about. And I give two shits what people say about me. Just treat me right, you know? Say what you want behind my back. I don't care. But, you know. But, yeah. I mean, like I said today, it's like I tried to get into my storage and now I have to go buy wire cutters or whatever because the keys are gone. And I thought I had a copy of all the keys in a lockbox at somebody else's house. And so, but somehow I still can't get in there and I don't understand. I mean, it's just, it never stops. Yeah, I get it. See, I was a journalism major and, well, so I had 1,600 people on my last Facebook page and they locked me on my Facebook page and they stole my contact list because they kept changing passwords and then I got locked out of my phone and I couldn't get back into my contact list. And so I opened a new Facebook page because I had no way of getting hold of people because they stole all my contacts. But, and then I had an Instagram and I deleted it, but somehow it's not deleted. It's still there. And I know I deleted it. So now I have a new one. But then I started making these videos and I made these videos specifically to rant like this. But I found that when I make my videos about faith that I really enjoyed it. And so I've decided that this is something like making videos like this, like becoming an influencer. Maybe I may never have 1 million followers or whatever, but being able to talk about things like, I like to talk about things like, like like being pro-Israel, and being pro-Palestinian. I want Palestinians to live. I wish that Israel and Palestine could become one, but they're never going to be, because they're both so freaking stubborn, or talking about how I support the LGBTQ community as a Christian, and how I just think that Christians need someone to bully, and, and that, right, this has been their thing lately, is to pick on that community. But I keep saying that by doing so, they're turning them off on God, and they're never going to understand how much God loves them, because you're being a poor example to them, stuff like that. I do like to talk, I'm very into, I don't know, I guess, advocating and grassroots kind of stuff, and like I said, politically, I know, and I get, as much as I get how, when it comes to the undocumented and all of them flooding in right now, and whether you believe that Biden should let them in or not let them in, they're here and they're human beings, and we should help them, because the Bible says to be kind to foreigners, and and so, and if we are called as people of God to help other people, and so whether politically you think they should be here or not, it is our job to be kind to them, stuff like that, and some of it I say from a biblical perspective, but Christians disagree with me, and I'm willing to use my voice to advocate for it, how I feel about certain things. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What else? Those are the main ones that I focus on. For me, abortion's a tricky one for me. And I've gotten in debates with one of my cousins, and I do want to apologize with her, because for a while, when I was at International House of Prayer, Lou Engle was really big on abortion's wrong no matter what. And I didn't really believe that, but because I wanted to be a part of their movement, I was repeating his words. I was mimicking him. And I really do believe abortion's wrong, but I really do believe there's a gray area, and, I don't know. And so, that's one that I grew up in, my dad liked to go to rallies, and he would bring these pictures home, these dead babies and dumpsters and from abortions and stuff like that. And I mean, it was really, really grounded in me that abortion was the unpardonable sin, and really looking at it from my, and so that's how I grew up believing. And, and then there was a point where I think I was pregnant, and I was in college and partying a lot, and I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, and the thought of going home pregnant without a degree was embarrassing. And and really thinking about oh my gosh, do I have an abortion? And then I decided no matter what, I would keep the child, and then I ended up miscarrying. And, but because of that, I'm able to see things from the other side, but like I said, and so I get it now, when you're in those kind of circumstances and you don't know what to do, but, I think that if you're capable, you should have the child. And then, I don't know, I tell people, and this is horrible, that if you're going to do crack the whole time you're pregnant, you might as well have an abortion. And I don't know, and I know that's probably wrong too, but I just think that if you're setting that child up for failure before it's even born by not taking care of it in your womb, it's, I don't know, but I also believe in reincarnation, and, it's let it go and let it have another chance down the road, let it be reincarnated. I don't know, which most Christians don't believe in reincarnation, but I don't know. I believe in it. I believe in reincarnation the way science believes in reincarnation, the law of thermodynamics, that everything recycles itself, the universe recycles itself. Our atmosphere, we break down into little pieces of speck, and then we become something else someday. And I don't know how that relates to our soul, but I'm thinking that if our body does that something in our soul recycles itself too, So I don't know. Most Christians don't believe that at all, and they would probably think I'm crazy for saying that, but it's all good. It's something I really, really thought about. And there's one scripture in Proverbs, and there's that says before we were man, we were spirits, and so I think of these little like sperm souls floating around in heaven, these little sperm spirits, and that we're alive before they became a body, and what happened, they go back, so they come down and they come into the person, and the person has a soul, and the person dies, and they're reincarnated like water is reincarnated into the atmosphere, and they come down again. I don't know, and I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I believe, but it's but whether or not that is really what happens, I like the idea that there's a heaven and there's another life, but even Jesus said that will be neither male nor female. There's no sex in heaven, and God is non-binary. We're all going to be non-binary once we die, so yeah. Any comments? But these are the things I like to preach about. I want people to see God through my eyes. I want people to see that that they've been taught wrong about religion. I have a cousin, Joe Diamond. His stage name is Joe Diamond. He's a musician or a magician, and he's also does like medium stuff and and stuff like that. And my aunt is a super right-wing Christian, and he went to Bible school, and he grew up in a Christian school. Well, he didn't go to Bible college, but he grew up in a Christian school. And, he was taught this is wrong, this is dynamic, and they didn't support his career. And, because they really, they thought, and he was just on Penn and Teller, and he kind of talks about how a lot of people think that this stuff is demonic, and it really isn't. And they actually mentioned that on Penn and Teller. I was kind of embarrassed because he made fun of going to Christian school a little, and I told all my Christian friends to watch, but it's all good. But I said to him one day, I didn't say, he said something on Instagram about it, and I said, it's just sad that you were taught wrong about God, and I want you to know that the way you were taught isn't what God's really like, and there's a lot of people out there that were taught wrong, and I don't know, I got into tarot cards for a while. I stopped doing them because somebody gave me a hard time about it. But I kind of feel like, like the gift of prophecy and the psychic powers and a lot of that stuff is the same thing. It just goes by different names, and I just, I don't know. Sometimes he goes up there and does mind reading, and I used to be able to do that when it's hard for me to do it right now because I'm so focused on what's going on. But when I was able to just focus on God all the time, and I was able to give words of knowledge, and I'm like, well, Joe and I have the same gift, we just call it different things, and that's truly how I believe. And so I don't know. So I'm very, and I always say this, and he probably has heard that when I found out he wanted to be a magician, I was like, he's never going to make it, but he's actually does a really, really good job, and he's not world famous, and not everybody knows his name yet, but he's pretty well known. He's like a local celebrity, like most people in our community, if you said Joe Diamond, they at least know who he is. Do I keep the Torah? I am learning to keep a Torah. I have, actually right here, I have a complete Jewish Bible, and I have been, and it divides the Torah, the first 5 books, into the Torah sections. And this is the first time I'm doing it, actually. I am trying to go by the Jewish calendar when I read the Torah. I thought, because sometimes, like, at the end of a section, it has, the Haftorah, which is usually a prophet, and then it has some New Testament readings that go along with it. And for some reason, when I first started reading this, I thought it was going to take me through the whole Bible in a year on the Jewish calendar. But it's all just New Testament scriptures that go with the Torah. So I grew up Christian, and I found out My family was always very proud because I think my great-great-grandma was a Strauss and related to Johann Strauss, who invented the waltz. You may not know the name, but if you heard one of his songs, you would probably know it, and he, this was a very proud thing. And somebody did some research on him and found out he was Jewish. And so I'm like, I always say quarter Jew, but I think I'm like fifth or sixth Jew. I don't know. And then my grandma on my mom's side actually looks Jewish, but she said she was raised Catholic. And so I think I'm a little more Jewish than that. I just can't prove it. And growing up, because I was actually somebody who really, really loved God, and I was always like, well, why is there such a separation between the Jews and the Christians? And everyone was like, oh, they're exactly the same, except for Christians believe in Jesus and Jews don't. So I would study Judaism a little here and there. And so when I was mad at Christianity, because during the Trump years, I was very upset with Christians, I finally went to a synagogue, and I found that Judaism and Christianity are way more different than people realize. And I started going on a regular basis and learning a lot. I've learned about Rabbi Nachman, who I love. He was he's a pretty famous rabbi from like the 1500s, Ukrainian, and I don't really like my Maimonides, but I've just learned so much. And so now, and then I moved though. And it was during COVID. And my synagogue was closed. Like, they were just doing Zoom services, but the synagogue at the college by me was also closed. And but they weren't doing things very consistently. Like, they weren't meeting every week. And honestly got hard to keep track of when they were doing their Zoom meetings, because they were so inconsistent. And so I finally started going back. I started going back to church, and I was this close to converting to Judaism. But I've always said, even when I was going to a synagogue, that there's something about Judaism that Christianity has that Jews are missing, but vice versa. There's something about Christians that Jews have that Christians are missing. And so I don't know. I guess I would be a Messianic Jew, I guess. But I really didn't want to become a Christian. I just really wanted to meet people, because I moved to a community during COVID and was trying to make friends. So that was really the reason I went back to church. But now that I'm moving back over by my synagogue, I went, they're only meeting every other Saturday now. And with everything, I went 2 Saturdays ago. I can't go this Saturday because I'm moving, but once I'm moving, I hope to try to go more regularly. And I've been actually working on learning the Hebrew letters. There's a video about it, about how I bought this children's tracing book just to learn the letters. So I want to, I don't know. Learning the letters, though, is, it's mindless enough to where I can do it and not think, but it helps me to focus on something else besides my problems. It's kind of like when adult coloring, like learning these letters, like learning the alphabet is just, it's helping me in a way. It's weird, it's giving me something to do, but not something overly stressful, but something to change my focus. But, so I don't know, but, trying to think. I really do think in a way that the Jewish holidays are a lot more holy than the Christian holidays. But I don't want to celebrate them in a synagogue, because honestly, you sit and sing a lot of songs in Hebrew that I don't understand, and it gets really boring. But, I did a word study on the word on atonement, which is Yom Kippur. And, and they tell people to go walk in the woods, and atone for your sins. And I think having a date with God, as Christians, we're supposed to atone for our sins all the time, where Jews only are supposed to do it once a year. And whether you do it once a year or once a week or once a month, I think taking time to be alone with God, the concept of Yom Kippur, taking that day out to atone, to talk to God, to atone for your sins, is a very holy thing, and it's very awesome. And I also like the holiday. I can't think of the name of the holiday, but there's a holiday coming up. It's like celebrated on Pentecost Sunday, and it celebrates the Torah, where you're supposed to stay up all night and study the Word together and eat cheesecake. And that's a holiday I kind of want to celebrate with people. To me, that sounds like a lot of fun to get a group of people together and study the Word and eat cheesecake all night. Like, I think that it just sounds awesome to me. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate you people coming on. I do. Trying to think what else. I don't know. I do. I appreciate that you guys have listened to me. I'm trying to tell you what else I can think of. It's actually helped to change my focus because I get excited about studying my Hebrew, and I get excited about stuff like that, and it helps me to get my mind off of all my other problems. So this was good. But I need to run to the store and find a wire cutter, so I'm going to let you go. And you have a good day. God bless you. Like, subscribe, Cash App. I'm not working. Send me flowers or whatever you want to do. I appreciate it. Follow me. I'd like to, send me messages. I'd like to talk to you all more. Let me know when your lives are so I can send you messages or listen to your lives. Have a great day.